Happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax here to provide you with the latest on Tropical Storm Sally. Earlier this afternoon, of course, that storm formed, and this is a look right now at Tropical Storm Sally. Winds are at 40 miles per hour. It's moving west at 7 miles per hour, located about 30 miles south-southwest of Naples, Florida. And this system is going to continue to move through the Gulf. As that happens, it's expected to strengthen, and I'll show you the current track that we're looking at as of right now. It continues sort of in a west or more of a northwesterly fashion, but once it does make it onto land, it then takes a northeasterly turn. So this is the current cone, and it still is a little bit wide for where it hits the land, so that's something that could change. It could move a little bit to the east or a little bit to the west. That cone is very wide, and especially beyond that. So we will know more in the coming days. That cone will likely begin to shrink, narrowing down on a specific area. So just to kind of show you a little bit, the landfall potentially could be between that Louisiana-Mississippi border along the coast. So keep this in mind. It's expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane, and it is going to be somewhat on the weaker side, max sustained winds at about 85 miles per hour. So here in Baton Rouge, we're expected to be on the west side of the storm. That's where we want to be. Typically with these storms, due to forward momentum, the east side is where we see the majority of the impacts, and that's why you see areas in pink and areas in yellow highlighted for hurricane watches as well as tropical storm watches, mainly for portions to our west, including from Grand Isle to about Mobile Bay, and then around Pensacola we see those tropical storm watches. And I'll zoom in a little bit to show you exactly what we're looking at. So this is where we see a storm surge watch. That's going to be another possibility with this system, especially since grounds are already saturated. It's been sort of wet, especially along the coast. We saw some storms earlier in the day, and those are going to continue tomorrow. That, of course, is due to the first wave that's in the Gulf, but this tropical storm is expected to produce more rain in the picture, and as that happens, we'll see higher rainfall totals, and that's going to increase the likelihood of storm surge. And this is from about Grand Isle through Mobile Bay. And as far as the watches are concerned, areas in pink under a hurricane watch, areas in yellow under a tropical storm watch. So East Baton Rouge is just to the west of that hurricane watch, but still that doesn't mean that we won't see any impacts. We're expecting gusty winds as well as rain and possibly some flooding. So just to sort of time things out around when the system could make landfall, it's going to continue its track over the Gulf, strengthening. And this particular model, our European model, has it moving on land around 6:30 in the morning on Tuesday. That's also when we expect to see the highest rain totals. And you can see on this particular model, a lot of areas in yellow and orange, and those darker greens are going to stay to our east. That's where the heaviest rainfall totals are going to fall. And then the system continues to move a little bit northerly before making that northeastward turn, but beyond that there is still the chance for some rain in the area, so you'll want to make sure that you keep an eye out on those storms. And I'll show you our FUTURECAST model and show you kind of what it's showing for what we could potentially be seeing. So here we are today, expecting a few more storms to continue to move through. The good news is we're mainly expecting light to moderate rain. There's a chance for a few heavy pockets, but the main thing today is going to be light to moderate rain, and same thing tomorrow. It's going to be more of a transition day as one wave enters the picture. We've got a tropical storm beginning to move in. So we start to see some increased rain chances along the coast early in the morning. You'll want to keep an eye out for that if you live along the coastal areas or if you know anyone that does. As we continue throughout the day, a few spotty storms begin to move into the picture. Now, we're not expecting a washout, but these storms are going to be pretty isolated, but covering a good portion of the area. And overnight, we stay mainly dry as we head into Monday. This is not when we're expecting the worst of the rainfall, but we are going to see some storms mainly in the evening hours. Those storms begin to move through. But Tuesday, and this is a 72-hour model, so it won't show it, but Tuesday's when we're expecting the heaviest rainfall. And to give you a look at some of the totals that we're expecting just through today, or just through Monday, I should say, as we end the weekend, we're looking at around 1/4 of an inch in most locations, some spots a little bit higher, but generally those rainfall totals are under 1/2 an inch. That begins to increase on Monday as we head into the midnight hours. A lot of areas around that 1/2 an inch mark, but notice how these totals begin to change on Tuesday as that storm or potentially hurricane begins to approach land. These numbers rapidly increase by about 1/2 an inch here in our area, but around New Orleans and over toward the eastern portion of the state, totals around 5 inches. And there is the possibility for those numbers to increase, so don't take these as these are the exact totals. This is just a ballpark of what we could see, but beyond that, we don't see too much of an increase going forward. There is still going to be that chance for rain in the area, but the primary impacts are going to come on Tuesday. And overall, we are in a very wet pattern. That's what the Climate Prediction Center has been saying all along. Now, there's the possibility of flooding, and we see flash flood watch in effect through Wednesday night with estimates of 6 to 12 inches. Locally, higher amounts are going to be possible. And I think the areas that will get a little bit closer to the 12-inch side are going to be around the Florida Panhandle because, again, the east side of the storm is where we expect the most impacts, but storm force winds are going to be a possibility here in the capital city. So look for those to arrive on Monday. And again on Tuesday, gusty winds are possible. And that leads me to the threats that we are looking at with Sally. Here in Baton Rouge, primarily flooding as those rainfall totals continue to climb. The ground is very saturated right now, and as we continue to see rainy days leading up to this event, the ground will just become more saturated. Flooding will certainly be a possibility beyond those areas where we saw the flash flood watch areas in green. Winds will also be another thing. Gusty winds are possible, so make sure to secure loose belongings. If you have any outdoor furniture, any lawn furniture, you may want to bring that in just to be on the safer side. And tornadoes are, the threat for that is going to be on the lower side, but that does not mean that they are impossible, so make sure to stay on your game. And storm surge along the coastal areas is going to be another concern. That's always the biggest thing that we look at with these tropical systems. And right now I'm going to say that it's going to be a medium threat to the coastal areas, but still make sure to stay on your guard. And it's very busy in the tropics besides this system, so I'll show you what else we're monitoring. Earlier, Tropical Depression 20 actually formed, along with Renee still in the Atlantic, Paulette in the Atlantic as well, and another wave is expected to possibly form over the next 5 days. It has a medium chance, so there's still time for that system to strengthen and develop, but Tropical Depression 20 is going to continue to move through the Atlantic. It could move, right now it looks like it may take a westward track, but that's something that we will have plenty of time to monitor. It is very far from our area and a little bit too early to say exactly where it will go. Now as we take a look more so at the Gulf, we've got that first wave in yellow. That's the one that's been bringing us rain yesterday, today, and we'll see some rain tomorrow as that continues to move westward before making a southwestward turn. The chance of formation is low, but it's still expected to produce some rain. Areas in Mexico could begin to see some rain as that system gets closer to land. And then there's Sally just off the coast of Florida, continuing to move through the Gulf. That's going to bring us rain as well. And we are very much in the peak of hurricane season. It is super busy. We just passed the official date for the peak, which was September 10th, but a lot of action is still happening, and we've run through a lot of names on this list, so I'll show you where we are. We just crossed off Sally. Teddy is the next name, so Tropical Depression 20 could potentially become Tropical Storm Teddy. After that, we only have Vicky and Wilfred, and once we run out of names, we go into the Greek alphabet. That has only happened one other year, and that was in 2005. So it's very busy. You want to make sure that you stay weather aware. This hurricane is only expected to be Category 1, but plan for a Category 2 or higher. We always say to plan for 1 storm or higher, and just make sure that you are not panicking, just prepare. So if you feel the need to fill your emergency supplies, which I do recommend, like water and batteries. Make sure to do that before Tuesday. Also check your generator and again, plan for a category higher than what the forecast is saying, just in case. And of course, you can download our BR Proud app for the latest, and make sure to check your yard for any loose belongings. Most of the impacts, again, are going to be to our west, but don't let your guard down. There's still the chance for rain in our area, as well as gusty winds, which could potentially lead to downed power lines. Make sure to stay safe though, and we will continue to provide you with updates as we receive them. And really all throughout the season, we're still a long ways away from the end of hurricane season. It's been busy. It likely will continue as we continue to move through the peak, so make sure to stay weather aware. Again, you can download our free BR Proud app or visit brproud.com for the latest on the tropics, and I'll be back at 6 p.m. on NBC Local 33 to provide you more info on what you can expect in the tropics. Thanks for joining.